Will you please welcome to the stage Anna Panigassi?
Hi, so good to be here. So, I'm a Brazilian gynecologist. Yes, please laugh, that's the joke. Yeah, so, Brazilians don't call Brazilians Brazilians, right? Like in Brazilians, lady grooming stuff, right? Yeah. Yeah, what do you think we call them? Irish people. Yeah, no, we don't call them Irish. That would be too funny. No, yeah. So, yeah, well, to the science. So I moved to Ireland in 2015, and all the research that I've done in Brazil, so I'm what they call a super specialist. If you're German, a uber specialist, where I'm a first trimester screening specialist, which would be a 12-week scan specialist. And again, in the light of this referendum, I thought that wouldn't be funny. But my friends love me for that because I can tell the sex of their child at a 12-week scan with 98% certainties. Yeah, my cards are at the back. Not tarot cards, business cards. Yeah, so. And then I moved to Ireland, and then I started working with innovation and development of medical technologies. And I started that 1.5 years ago. And I'm still kind of riding that eye of that storm, and I might be working at Costa Coffee next year. And so I decided that tonight, I'm not going to talk about that either. I decided that tonight I'm going to talk about Beyonce. Yes, I'm going to talk about Beyonce. No, I'm kidding. Beyonce is not science, she's just magic. Yeah, so tonight, I'm going to talk about orgasms. Yes, you wish I was talking about Beyonce now, don't you? Irish people, yeah. Anyway, so once upon a time, a dude, you can place this dude at any time in history that you like, the ancient Egyptians, I don't know. I like to picture a Victorian dude with a mustache. So this dude, one day he posed the question, why do women have orgasms? Because God forbid it's for the crack, if they exist. Yeah, this guy he pictured that they must have a medical reason to exist. And so he kind of decided that the contractions that the tubes and the uterus gets from the orgasms help in fertilization. And so he decided that. And so my point is, like, dudes assume loads of stuff, like people assume loads of stuff. Like, for example, like, do you guys wear Fitbits? Do you have Fitbits? Yeah, right? So do you know why it's 10,000 steps? Have you asked that question? So it's 10,000 steps because this guy in Japan in the 60s published a paper where he decided it was 10,000 steps, and like one paper, and like the people from Fitbit just picked that up, and now it's 10,000 steps. So people just assume things like, like there's an even better one. Like, you're all smart people and very knowledgeable, and so like you obviously been to a museum. Have you ever seen or like a depiction or a skeleton or an explanation about baby dinosaurs? Think about it. Have you ever seen a baby dinosaur, like a skeleton or a picture? Or, like, I've never thought of that. So there's this, like, it isn't that mad. Like, so there's this TED Talk that came out a couple of weeks ago by this professor, and he talks about how if people found a new dinosaur, they got to name it. So they would find those small skeletons. And instead of thinking that those were baby dinosaurs, they would say, there's a new small dinosaur, and I shall name it Steve after me. So like apparently, like there's like, there used to be 17 dinosaurs in, I don't know, Cretaceous period. I don't know, just Google the TED Talk. And like now there's 12 because they're all actually baby dinosaurs. That's mad, like. Do you want to know? Even better one. Do you know how to take a birth control pill? Do you know how do you take a birth control pill? Do you know? No? Yeah. So this is going to be educational as well. So this is how it works. You get a blister, and there's 21 pills, or 24, and you take it for 21 days and stop for 7, or you take it for 24 days and stop for 4. And you know why you stop? You stop to menstruate, right? So when they developed the birth control pills in the 60s, when they developed it in the 60s, they, your man looked at the blister and said, but this is meant to fool the ovaries. So if you take that every day, you won't menstruate. And then, when they were designing the trials, they were no. So what they did is, no, we're going to put a pause on it so they'll menstruate. Otherwise, on what are you going to blame everything that is wrong in our lives if they don't menstruate? No. So that's how they developed the trials. And do you believe that the trials that took the pauses of the birth control pills only happened in the 90s? And the craziest of all that, when I was a medical resident, a professor had to tell me that it's okay, that you don't menstruate. And I was like, pfft. It's, I'm a fucking gynecologist, how do I not know that, So that's the thing, people just they assume that women have to menstruate. So, it's just mad, so, yeah. Anyway, back to orgasms. So my favorite piece of research on orgasms is on neuroscience. So they did something called functional MRI. You probably saw pictures. It's like the brain lights up in areas when you do certain things. So there's this, they did it on men and women having orgasms, and men have orgasms and it only lights up the pleasure area of the brain. And it's fickle and it's quick. So you keep going for more and more and more, especially if you're a teenager alone in a room. And what they found out for women is that not only it lights those areas up, but it lights the limbic system, which is where you have your emotions. And it also lights up your hippocampus, which is where you create your memories. So what happens is, every time a woman has an orgasm, it piles up as a memory. So she has another orgasm, and it kind of adds up to the previous one. So in evolutionary terms, a woman is a female is supposed to always go to that male because it builds up a memory of that. And the lesson is, boys and girls, women will always go for the best ride. So that's the takeaway for modern times. Not necessarily another man, but anyway. My point is, people just assume, they just assume stuff. And that happens a lot in women's health, for example, and apparently in dinosaurs. People just assume a lot of things, especially if they don't get it, they don't understand it, or if they have something to gain from it. So my point is, what I've learned from my new research in innovation, and my previous research as well, I think the biggest lesson I learned so far is always question everything. Never accept everything, especially those assumed truths, because that's the basis for innovation. Thank you very much.